Have you noticed there are individuals who almost never share photos on social networks? While countless people broadcast what they're eating, where they're going, who they're with, there exists a group that prefers quietness. They maintain accounts, perhaps even engage with likes and comments, but seldom reveal their face, their daily routine, or their personal life. And then comes the question, why? Are these individuals simply more private, more introverted, or is something deeper underlying this digital behavior? If this topic resonates with you, if you're curious about the psychology behind human behavior and the deeper meaning of our choices, subscribe to Inner Wise Woman. Every week, we explore the hidden patterns that shape how we live, love, and connect. Hit that subscribe button and join our community of conscious souls seeking deeper understanding. We inhabit an era where visibility has become normalized. Displaying what we do, what we purchase, and even what we feel has woven itself into daily existence. It's almost as if what isn't posted didn't truly happen. Yet certain people challenge this logic. They live and live genuinely without needing to transform everything into content. It's fascinating to consider that in such a noisy world, digital silence captures attention. Not publishing can represent a deliberate choice, a way of declaring, I don't need to display everything to feel complete. And this behavior reveals volumes about how these individuals navigate their own image, their privacy, and what they genuinely value. Perhaps you know someone like this, or perhaps you are this person, and if so, understand there's far more psychology involved than appears on the surface. When we discuss digital behavior, it's impossible not to observe how each person constructs a different type of relationship with social networks. Some people love showing what they're experiencing, sharing photographs, videos, thoughts, every step of their day. Others prefer observing in silence, without leaving so many traces. But this doesn't mean these people are indifferent or disengaged. On the contrary, frequently they're more attentive, more conscious, and even more selective about what they consume. These individuals understand that the digital environment isn't neutral. Each like, each comment, each post creates an impression, a fragment of our public identity. And some people simply don't want that identity dependent on a photograph or a specific moment. They recognize that online, everything gains amplified weight. A smiling photo can be interpreted as complete happiness. An absence of posts can be viewed as isolation. And over time, this exhausts them. So what do these people do? They choose not to participate in this game of constant exposure. Not because they're cold or excessively reserved, but because they prefer experiencing life directly without needing to translate it into imagery. They witness a sunset and simply appreciate it. They eat something delicious and keep that pleasure to themselves without needing to show the plate to everyone. In a world where digital behavior is governed by algorithms, likes, and metrics, the act of posting nothing is almost a form of resistance. It's as if saying, I still want control over my presence here. These people don't allow the network to dictate what's important or worthy of sharing. They decide that themselves. Nowadays, it seems we exist in a silent competition for attention. Every photo, every video, every posted phrase is an attempt, conscious or not, to be seen, to be remembered, to receive that small dose of approval. But there are those who choose the opposite path. Instead of seeking popularity, they seek to preserve their own privacy. These people understand that the less you show, the more you protect. And this has nothing to do with fear. It has to do with worth. They value what's intimate, what's theirs alone, what doesn't need validation from anyone. When someone decides not to post a photo, it's not necessarily because they don't want the world to see, but because they understand that not everything needs to be seen. There are moments that lose their charm when transformed into content. A genuine laugh, a peaceful dinner, an unpretentious walk. Sometimes these are more beautiful precisely because they're not being filmed. The truth is that on networks, everything displayed becomes interpreted. And the more you expose yourself, the more space you give for others to create versions of who you are. Therefore, those who value privacy prefer maintaining a certain mystery, a clear boundary between what's public and what's personal. This choice is a form of freedom because When you stop worrying about others' approval, you gain complete control over your own image and especially over your own time. You don't need to post to prove anything. You don't need to compare to feel sufficient. And gradually you realize that real life is much lighter when it's not being measured by likes. This behavior demonstrates a type of inner strength that isn't always easy to perceive. When someone chooses not to post their photos, many people imagine this person is insecure, that they dislike their own image, or that they're ashamed to show themselves. But most often, it's exactly the opposite. What exists in reality is a quiet self-confidence, a type of security that doesn't need exhibition to exist. Think about it. On social networks, it's very easy to fall into the trap of comparison. You post something, wait for likes, read comments, and when the reaction doesn't come as expected, that little doubt emerges. Wasn't it good enough? Does nobody care? This constant search for validation may seem harmless, but gradually it shapes how we see ourselves. It's as if personal value comes to depend on what others think, not on what we truly are. Those who don't enter this cycle generally have a more stable internal sense of worth. They don't need the like to feel beautiful, nor the compliment to feel capable. These people possess a quieter confidence. They trust their own judgment, their own choices, and especially their own peace. And it's curious because often this self-confidence comes accompanied by a certain tranquility. They don't feel rushed to show anything. They live at their own rhythm without needing applause. And when they choose to share something, they do it from desire, not from a need for attention. The absence of posts isn't an absence of self-esteem. It's a sign of emotional maturity. It's proof that the person is self-sufficient, that they don't need the world's validation to know who they are. And this mental posture, besides showing inner strength, also protects something very valuable: emotional health. Because when you don't live based on others' approval, you live based on your own peace. We live in a time when social networks seem never to rest. Information, comparison, and noise all the time. And in the middle of this whirlwind, those who choose to step back a little, who decide not to post everything, are often just trying to protect something that's become rare: mental peace. The truth is that the act of not publishing can be a form of self-care. It's like placing an invisible boundary between what's yours and what belongs to others' gaze. Because deep down, every time we post something, we open ourselves to interpretations. And these interpretations aren't always gentle. There are criticisms, comparisons, unnecessary comments, and even simple digital silence can hurt when we expect a reaction that doesn't come. People who decide to remain more reserved understand this. They know the mind also needs rest, silence, spaces where there's no need to prove anything. And so they choose not to expose every detail of life, not from fear, but from balance. It's a type of choice that comes from within. They perceive that tranquility is worth more than attention, and that you don't need to be visible all the time to feel alive. Less exposure means less comparison, less pressure, and less anxiety. And in exchange comes something much more valuable: real presence, focus on what's happening here and now. These people live moments completely, not looking at the screen, but looking at the moment. And this makes all the difference, because while many are worried about recording, they're simply feeling. Not posting is often an act of emotional protection, a reminder that life is more beautiful when it doesn't need to be measured in likes, and that well-being comes much more from internal connection than from external approval. And here comes an important point. Not sharing everything doesn't mean being antisocial. Actually, it can mean exactly the opposite: someone who values real contact, eye-to-eye, sincere conversations off screens. There's a very common misconception, thinking that those who don't post, who prefer to stay quiet on networks, are cold, distant, or even antisocial people. But this is far from the truth. Most of the time, these people are extremely sociable. They just prefer living socialization off screens. They enjoy being with friends, conversing, laughing, participating, but don't feel the need to transform everything into content. For them, the value of the moment lies in living the moment, not in showing the moment. It's the type of person who goes to a gathering, enjoys every second, and when they get home, realizes they didn't even take a photo. And that's perfectly fine, because what mattered was being present, not recording. In practice, those who don't publish much on networks tend to have more solid, more genuine relationships. They're not concerned with the appearance of connection, but with the connection itself. They're people who prefer looking into eyes instead of typing, who remember conversation details, who know how to listen without thinking about the next story. It's interesting to notice how online silence doesn't mean isolation. It means choice. Choice to prioritize what's real, what's intimate, what happens far from the pressure of appearing. Because sometimes, the less we show ourselves, the more we find ourselves. These people understand that the virtual world is just one part of life, important, but not everything. And they don't feel obligated to be always available or visible. They live more calmly, with more privacy, with more truth. So not publishing isn't being antisocial. It's just a different and often healthier way of being present in the world. A way that values silence as much as speech, and real encounters more than virtual ones. And this behavior has a deep root. It's born from authenticity, from a sincere desire to be who one is, without needing to prove anything to anyone. Deep down, what moves these people is something simple but powerful: authenticity. They don't feel the need to follow the rhythm of networks, nor to fit into the trends of the moment. They live according to their own time, their own purpose, without rushing to show, without fear of being left out. While many worry about constructing an image, those who choose not to post so much worry about being truly, without filters, without scripts, without that constant effort to seem happy all the time. It's a form of silent authenticity, almost discreet, but revealing enormous inner strength. These people understand that living doesn't need an audience, that a moment can be special just because it happened, even if nobody saw it. They seek meaning, not applause. And this difference changes everything. When you live with purpose, the need to prove disappears. You start doing things from desire, not to show you're doing them. And this brings immense freedom, the freedom to be faithful to yourself. Authenticity also brings peace because it eliminates the weight of comparison. You don't need to follow what everyone does. You don't need to be everywhere, nor record everything. You choose what really matters to you, and that's what keeps you centered. These people view life as a collection of moments, not posts, and therefore they manage to live in a lighter, truer way, more connected to what really has value. They know they don't need to appear all the time to exist, and that life's purpose isn't in how many people see you, but in how many people you truly touch. And this leads us to the final point of this journey. In a world where everyone wants to be seen, choosing what to show or what not to show is an act of courage and consciousness. In a world where everyone wants to be seen, where each instant seems to need digital proof, choosing not to show is an act of bravery. It's going against the flow. It's saying with tranquility, my life doesn't need to be exhibited to be real. This choice not to post everything isn't escape, it's consciousness. It's knowing that privacy is also a form of power, because when you choose what to show, you reclaim control over your own narrative. You decide what's yours, what you want to share, and what you want to protect. Showing less doesn't mean living less. It means living with more intention. It means being whole in the moment. Without worrying about the angle, the filter, the caption, it means truly savoring life instead of transforming it into content. People who understand this live with more lightness. They don't measure their own worth by others' reactions and therefore feel less pressure. They know happiness isn't in likes, but in experiences that nobody needs to see to know they were real. And perhaps that's the great learning from all this. Freedom isn't in showing everything, it's in choosing what to show. Because when we feel free to keep moments just for ourselves, life gains another flavor. It becomes quieter, more authentic, more true. So if you're one of these people who prefers living instead of posting, know that this doesn't make you less interesting. Actually, it shows you found something many people are still searching for: the peace of being who you are, even when nobody is watching. And in the end, perhaps this is the greatest sign of emotional maturity in the digital world: the capacity to choose your own form of existing without needing to prove anything to anyone.